It was just a very successful election day. We saw Georgians from all over the state cast their ballots to make their voice heard. It's still a wonderful thing. This vote, this democracy, this republic. I still stand in awe of what we saw and what our forefathers have built on this nation. Something so unique in human history. It's truly divinely inspired. That said, it takes people, lots of people, very hardworking people, to make it happen. So I want to give credit first to our elections team here in my office that is led by our director, Blake Evans, the deputy director, Dr. Jesse Harris, and Michael Barnes, our director of the Center for Elections. Their team has done amazing work, and they worked with the greatest county election teams that I think our nation has to do the tough on-the-ground work of running polling locations, processing voters, and counting the votes. And speaking of processing voters, we had an average speed of processing voters at the polls that was simply amazing. We saw processing speeds of 48 seconds, and it actually dipped down to 47 seconds for a few moments. It was that kind of processing speed that led to 2-minute average wait times, across the state. I have a screenshot of it if anyone wants to see it later. I read online that there was a person who wanted to test our line warming law. So he loaded his car with boxes and cases of bottled water to give the voters in line. So he started driving around, and his problem was he couldn't find any lines. And so he even said in the article, quote, "The system is running so smoothly today that no one lined up in the sun." So that is tremendous to see that kind of responsive and good results that we had at the county level. And I know all of you are probably voters also, and you probably had that same fantastic experience. And the credit for that goes to the counties, and it goes to the voters. The voters took record advantage of pre-election day voting. They had shattered the records for both absentee by mail and early in-person voting in a midterm. And we have seen that the counties almost fully complete the counting, and it's only a little after 2 p.m. on Wednesday. We see less than 10,000 voters to potentially be added to the count outside of the handful of votes that can be accepted by Monday, November 14th. Most of the races have a clear winner. In fact, Bee Wynn and I spoke last night, and she graciously conceded. And I thank her for that. That's the way it's supposed to be. We need all candidates who come up short to acknowledge it and to come back and fight within our system another day if that's their choice. There is one race in our state that is going to be moving to the December 6th runoff. That is the race for the United States Senate between Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. Our office has already begun the behind-the-scenes work to start building the ballots. So ballots are being built as we speak, and counties are making preparations. So some specifics for the process. Voters can request absentee ballots now through Monday, November 28th. There are about 150,000 voters who will receive an absentee ballot because they are on our absentee ballot rollover list. These people are either 65 or they're disabled. Our absentee ballot request portal is now open. Early voting must begin no later than Monday, November 28th in all counties. We do anticipate that some counties may likely have Saturday voting following Thanksgiving, as well as on November 26th. We are working with the counties to find out what their plans are on this front, and as soon as possible, so that their voters can make the best plans. This will be a very heavy lift for our counties because it's a 4-week runoff period, but I have confidence that they will take all the measures required to rise to the task. While we are working and preparing for the runoff, we all have our obligation to close out the November 8th election. Counties must certify by Tuesday, November 15th by 5 p.m. Then we move to the risk limiting audit. We will, quote, roll the dice, so to speak, on Wednesday November 16th. Then the audit must be complete by November 22nd. And the state must certify by Friday the 25th. That's the day after Thanksgiving. It's a lot of work, but that's how the machinery of our democratic republic works. We welcome it because we know at the end of the day, everyone wants to know that we have honest and fair elections, and we do. I ask the voters to come out and vote one last time. We have no control over how many campaign ads our voters are going to see over the next 30 days, but we'll make sure that we have honest and fair elections. I want to thank the voters. I want to thank you for your strong participation. I want to thank you for just being so friendly and really working with the system. We only had 7 precincts out of 2,700 that didn't finish yesterday and had to extend past, the 7 p.m. deadline. I want to thank the election workers. They worked long days yesterday, and they'll be working some long days ahead. I want to thank the poll workers, and I want to thank all of their families who support them. And a special thank you to our team. Thank you, and I will take your questions. Yes, ma'am. No, we kind of knew where it was headed, and we wanted to make sure that it was what it was going to be. And right now we're down under 10,000 votes, and we look at how many this person has and add all 10,000 to it. They wouldn't have 50%, likewise on the other side. And so that's why we're, going to tell you that there will be a runoff, and that's why we started building ballots this morning. Voters have their free will choice to vote all 3 methods. No excuse absentee voting, and if they want to get your request in soon, then we're going to have early voting. It'll be an abbreviated schedule. It'll be that 5 days plus most likely a Saturday, and some counties will do a Sunday. That's their choice, or on election day, which is Tuesday, December 6th. We give voters options in Georgia. They get to choose which one they like best. It is what it is, and we have a 4-week runoff period. And so I know that the candidates will be working on that, and that's why we're working today building ballots.
Yeah, Mr. Secretary, that's what I wanted to ask you about. With Senate Bill 2, as you having this compressed runoff timeline, does that make this election tougher?
What we've shown is our team and the counties have shown that they can perform at the highest level. And I'll even go so far. I know every Secretary of State takes pride in what their election office does, but when I was in our war room yesterday, looking at all the innovations and improvements our team has made, and I look at the work that our counties have made. That's why Heritage has recognized Georgia #1 for election integrity on the right side, and that's why on the left side, the Center for Election Innovation and Research has recognized Georgia #1 for voter accessibility. I would stack up Georgia against any state in the union. I think our team is the best, and I'd put it up against anyone. I think it's as good as the Bulldogs. Yes, there will be a runoff. We can look at the outstanding vote totals, and neither one would be over 50%.
How soon could somebody start voting? How soon could absentee ballots be returned? How soon could early voting start? Do you have to wait for certification to be completed before ballots can be received?
Gabe, do you have the date on that, or Ryan, Germany? We'll get you that date. By state law and House Bill 316, we're required to do a 90% risk limit. And so that means that we actually will do a sample size of the ballots that were cast. So it's not all the ballots, it's picking a sample size so we can verify the outcome of the race. And so it has to be within that 90% confidence level. And so that's why we talk about rolling the dice of what those ballots will be, the number of those by county. And so we'll be selecting that, and we'll have a press conference tomorrow on now which race it is, and then additional details about the risk limiting audit. Well, we've always had, it was really probably before a 5-week runoff period. It's not really a 4-week runoff period for states. What happened when we went to the instant runoff for UOCABA ballots, it allowed us to have just one runoff instead of the 9-week we had before. So that is really, I think, advantageous. So the counties are prepared already. They note that we're going to have this period of time. We're building the ballots, and then they're working on their back office systems to get prepared. Yes, sir. Well, I think it did, because if you look at what SB 202 did, first of all, it required that lines had to be shorter than 1 hour. So what the counties do, they performed. And yesterday I screenshot when we had line time of 2 minutes. And it really held that constant. Now, we had some places where it's 15 minutes, things like that. At 7 a.m., we had a few precincts that had to get their system in place, but it worked. And we kept those lines short. That then took care of the people said that, what about water? Well, people were politicking for 2 years ago, and so that took out that you're not going to be politicking within those zones. But with short lines like that, 47 seconds for check-in, you obviously didn't need that, even though it was a warm day yesterday, beautiful day. Also, we now have no excuse absentee voting, and no excuse absentee voting with photo ID. We had it with signature match, and we had actually been sued by the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. Both of them said, this is subjective. I said, no argument by me, because that's what I said we need to get away from back in 2018. We went to an objective criteria, which is driver's license with photo ID, and they've actually been using that in Minnesota for over 10 years. So if you look at then the proof of the numbers, the early votes, the absentee, we have just good numbers, and people are out there voting, and the system is working well.